Oh, what's going on YouTube? It's Donnie B all day. I am going over some Condor knives with you today, and the Condor knives are from El Salvador, so I figure, why not my little South American cholo hat, right? Hoo-hoo, hey, look how smooth I am, man. So, listen, Condor knives, they have a ton of great knives. I'm bringing you six knives out of my collection. Maybe six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should have counted first, then I look like less of an idiot. But I'm wearing this hat, so that's impossible. So this is what I'm doing. I'm bringing you 6 Condor knives that are must-owns for even different reasons. Just great knives. And I think every one of these is going to be just completely impactful. So let's get into it. Now, I did individual videos on every single one of these knives, so I'm not going to get into like all hardcore specs and this and that. If you want to see the specs, look up my videos. If you want to see how really good they perform, look up my videos. Each one of these is going to have a single video, and we're going to start with the one that's in my hand, and it's the smallest of the 6. But before we get going, let's do a fan. Let's do a little fan out of what we're looking at. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is one of those life is good moments. Oh, right here is 6 wonderful Condor knives. And I'm going to go over why every one of them is important to have and why each one is a difference maker. And we're going to start with the Game Surgeon. And I will do like basic overalls and stuff like that. You're looking at a 3.5-inch blade on this guy, and it is absolutely a perfect skinning knife. You've seen the shape of the old timer. It's been out there for 1,000 years, and they basically took that shape, modified it a little bit, and improved it. This little guy right here comes crazy sharp. It comes ready to go, and you can see this beautiful lift right here is great for a finger presentation. Right here is great for thumb presentation, depending on how you're going to be using the knife. Everything about the Game Surgeon is just done really well as a skinner. Like most Condor knives that you see out here, you're going to see full tank construction, just very wonderfully done. And as you can see through the wear on this knife, I love using this thing. Has a sweet little leather sheath. And that's one thing I do like about Condor is they are not afraid to use the leather. I will cuddle with you and call you my own. And I like how it sits high on the belt. So the t-shirt will cover it. So if you live in one of those states where people whine about, carrying a knife, this thing conceals well. And not only that, but if you're on a hunting trip, especially where you're going to need to be skinning, it's a very nice tight package. Doesn't have the big bulky sheath with all the extras. It's just a simple, lightweight, perfectly designed, perfectly contoured skinning knife. It does everything you need it to do. Now, of course, in my hands, it looks like it's a toy, but it's not. It's actually pretty good size. Overall, you're looking at still about 7.25 inches overall. So it's not tiny. It's just, to me it is. But it's a sweet knife. So the Game Surgeon, first on my list of must-have Condor knives. If you are doing any kind of skinning, this one is going to be the one to go to. So next we're going to get into another campsite knife, the Seligmann. Now, one of the really cool things about bringing you this knife, and you can see I've been using this one too. I use this one, as a matter of fact, every fire I light, I use that striker right there. This is my my new ferro rod striker, and I use it constantly. And the best, and I literally use this every time I light a fire now. The best thing is I do it right from the sheath. They leave it exposed enough to where I can go slip, and I have that done. You can see I was hitting some brick, chopping up some brick. That that works out great. It is my #1 ferro rod striker, and that's why this one comes to me with every fire. Not only that, but because of the convex shape on this, it is great for processing wood. It's more built like a hatchet than it is a knife. You can see those white liners just look beautiful in there. The sheath is so cool, man. It's got a flint strike, but I don't use flint. So right now it's just something that just looks nice, right? It's a little extra. Oh gosh, that smells good. And here's one of the great things. After reviewing this knife, and it was on the net, bow hole, drill hole, hollow pins, the designer of this knife contacted me, and he gave me an update, and he said, because the one thing I don't like is a big fat convex grind, but it does have its purposes, and I showed you that in the video. But he said they're making a new one, and I believe it's saber grind. So they're doing a new design for this knife. The new ones have a saber grind, which is going to up your game when it comes to bushcraft. I mean, up your game. Having the striker, the hammer, with the saber, with the little jimping on the drop, and you see it is a thick blade. It will up the game. As far as what this one's used for, this is going to be my processor and fire starter. So it's important. So you're looking at about a 5.5-inch blade on a total package that sits at almost 9 3/4. And it is so nice in the hand. This is one of my favorite grips on one of their knives. It just feels good. Feels very, very good. So the Condor Seligmann. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Whoo-wee. Next. One of my, you know what? I'm going to save this one for next. Whew, the Moonshiner. I used it recently, so I had to re-oil it, but holy moly. This guy right here is an ultimate camp knife. Not your survival knife, but your camp knife. And what I love about it is the grip is made for people like me with big, big hands. The grip alone is just under 6 inches, almost 5 3/4 inches, giving you a nice pocket. And the pocket, which is normally on a knife about 4 inches, the pocket on this one is 4 3/4 inches. So you have 3/4 extra inches for big, big hands to hold on to this knife. Now this thing, once you have skinned your animal with this guy, with your game surgeon, and you started your fire with this guy and got your wood ready to cook, you're going to need to cut up your meat, and you're not going to find a better blade for meat processing on the Condor line than this guy right here. This is basically a butcher's knife on steroids. This thing is sweet, sweet, sweet. The contouring of the handle, perfect contouring. The blade shape, perfect. You even have a swedge, which you don't need on a knife like this, but in an emergency situation, that swedge, especially going through, if you wanted to go through the meat and then pull down, maybe you're doing some butterflying on some meat, that's gonna help. But oh, I didn't clean this good. It's got crud all over it. But this guy right here, the Moonshiner, is one of the best all-around camp knives that you're going to find. I mean, as far as food processing, this one is definitely the way to go. So let's put, and again, a wonderful leather sheath. Gotta love that. All right, getting into the thickness. We'll go to this one next. I wasn't going to do this one next, but this one is the Dundee Bowie. Have I been using it? Just a tad. That's not chipping. That's wood that got stuck on there that I didn't take off yet. This thing has been great. If you're looking for a knife that you need to get through the brush with, you want a machete, but you want something stronger, you go with the Dundee. So this doesn't have to be your chopper, but it's going to chop like a maniac. This thing is awesome. It's thick enough to be a thick knife, but thin enough to be your machete. and with that long grip, and again, this is a grip made for big hands. With that long grip, it offers you a really, really good extra bit of angle to where I can put my middle finger down at this swell in the rear, and that's where I can get my length from. This one is what I would use for my machete in the bush, in the jungle, things like that. So I have my clear path to get to my campsite, right? I have my, after I've cleared the path, I got to take some, I got to get some wood. Actually, we're not even gonna get there yet, because we have to get the wood. We have to get the wood, right? We have to get it. So why not the Condor Undertaker Bowie? I've never done drugs, but man, whew, that's got to be pretty close. So the Undertaker Bowie, if you need the blade to chop the wood, somebody asked me if I had any rattling or anything like that. No, this thing is 100%. With the same thickness as the Dundee, but shorter, and with this big fat belly, this knife is a chopping madness mother. It is awesome. It is going to be the one that if I need to go out there and chop down a small tree, if I need to build my shelter, and then I need to cut up some firewood, some bigger pieces before I take this out to process them down, this is the Condor knife I'm using. This thing is freaking awesome. A lot of people wondered about the grip. They thought because that tombstone style, the coffin style, is the grip going to be enough? Are you going to have enough hold? And I'll tell you what, it offers a good grip on a thin handle. The way it is, it still offers a very good grip. I've not had any problems. I have not had any knife throws on accident. Knife throws on purpose, different story. Come on. But this thing is freaking wonderful. Wonderful. So the last one, and then we'll get into how we get them all together. The last one in this is going to be the Aatrox. Oh wait, there's part leather. So if you're out in a bush and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I need to attach a bunch of crap to my where's my ferro rod so I can strike with that Seligmann, you can put your ferro rod on here and your mag strip, and you can put all your extra cordage wrapped through there. These little holes make a world of difference in the woods when you need to attach stuff. And having the leather strap is better than those cheap nylon ones that flap all over the place. And it is buttoned, so you could take it on and off your gear. You could strap it to Molly. The sheath is very, very well done. But another big handle, and this one right here is a fighting knife to the max. Now, could you supplement this with the Plan A? Absolutely. You'll do great either way, but look at this thing. Oh, look at this thing. It is gorgeous. And if you get into, a scrap with a bear, or you get some deer coming close enough to that campground and you could do some Rambo and put some mud on your face, this right here, this is going to be your kill it blade right here. If you got to take down an animal, this is the one you're going to be using. This thing is amazing. Amazing. I didn't get into the length of a couple of them. Let's see. Totally skipped out on air because I get so excited with these things, man. Let's see, blade length on the Undertaker is about 10.5 inches. And the overall is 15.5 inches. So that's that, because I was so thoughtful and doing and saying that all for you. Let's put that in there. And I didn't give you the Dundee total size. Let's see, this one's a little longer. Gonna need a little bit more tape here. We're looking at about 11-inch blade with just about 18 inches overall. Huge, big knife. And let's put that back in there. And I don't know if I did the Moonshiner or not, but just in case. Just in case. Just in case. Just in case you love me. All right, so we're looking at 9.5 inches in the blade and 15 inches overall. So those are your basic measurements. Again, go to my videos, watch these videos individually and see. Now let's measure this guy up, and then we might have to do a versus between this one and the Dundee. Oh man, these are pretty close. And we are looking at, depending on where you measure from, a 12-inch blade with just under 18 inches overall. Big knife. So let's get into it. You're going camping. You have to get to your campsite, or you're going out in the woods, and you got to clear your path. You're using the Dundee Bowie, and you're clearing a path. You're getting through. That's your machete. Now, what happens is you get to a nice clearing, a nice area, and you think to yourself, man, this is going to be a spot where I need to build a camp. So you take out, man, you take out your Undertaker, and you start chopping down some saplings and some little trees, and you find yourself some down trees, and you start, getting them to processing size. And there's your wood collection right there, your big wood collection. Some of you guys have a small wood collection, but guess what? It's not all about that. You'll be all right. Then you figure, all right, well, what I need to do is I need to process this wood down. So I'm going to break out my Seligmann, and I'm going to knock them all down into the right size pieces that I need. And I'm going to get my fire started with the same knife. Perfect. Done. Now you're halfway there. Now you're thinking, that's awesome. Now I'm starving. So you're going to pull out the Aatrox, and you're going to go knock something off the planet, and you're going to take it out. Even if you have a little 22 with you and you peck something and it's still alive, and you get there and you're thinking, oh, I need to chop its head off. Bow! This is the one you're using. So now you've cleared a path. You got your wood. You processed your wood. You lit a fire. And now you got some food to go on that fire. The problem is that food is covered in feathers or fur and stuff like that. Well, that's where this guy comes in. You start taking off all the feathers and fur, and this little guy right here is going to be the one that's going to get you down to the bare meat, or bear meat, depending on what you actually caught. And once that happens, that's when you pull out this guy and you start chopping, slicing, dicing, and setting up your meal, and voila, you just have had the perfect camp experience, all on a collection of 6 blades. Now, can you do it with less? Absolutely. But I mean, if you happen to be walking around the jungle with 6 knives, why not? So that's it, guys. That's it. This is my 6 Condor knives that I would recommend for any time, any jungle, any camp usage. And trying to grab all these. Ugh. Oh man, it's like the heaviest deck of cards ever. So voila, there you go. This set right here is all you would ever need if you were stuck with just a big bunch of blades. This right here is gonna keep you alive, man. Awesome. So that's it from my Condor collection. I am Donnie B all day, and until next knife.